All right, that is where we close up the pick'em. Y'all know what time it is.
Uh-oh.
I love it. He looks like he's like floating down there. Like
For real, right? The floating head.
It's like the guy. It's like the guy doing the canoe. You know what I mean? Like it's just that's what I picture with Kyle.
Kyle, it's the scrub. It's JD's floating head in Scrubs.
You're not wrong. By the way, a little bit of movie magic. This is what happens. We have wheels on your chair. Woo-wee.
I'm just saying, man. It you pull it off well. Not everybody can do that.
Oh wait, change the banner, Jim.
That's all I'm saying. I'm getting there. Okay. Calm your
He was doing a great job of stalling until you were an asshole.
My goodness,
I'm an asshole.
You are a jerk of the worst kind.
Yeah.
All right. Remember, Kyle, when we look at this graphic, look at the right side first.
The left. See,
look at the right side first. EJ, give them your bottom five.
All right. Bottom five. Here we go. 28, the Minnesota Vikings, 0-3. 29, Houston Texans. 30, the Carolina Panthers. 31, the Denver Broncos.
Hold on.
Oh, the Denver Broncos.
Wait, who do you have at 28 again?
The Minnesota Vikings.
Nice.
Sorry, Matt. I know Matt hates that thing. That's why he's not here this week.
Hey, but it's to do in the bottom five. EJ, yeah, I like
32, Chicago Bears.
So I'm just going to get it out of the way. This is your best bottom five this year. Your constant disrespect for the Houston Texans is still a problem. This spot should still be held by the Commanders, and you're wrong. The rest of the teams, love it. I might nitpick you on who's 32, but I can't get mad at you for putting the Bears there.
I'll be honest with you, though. Minnesota's even at 0-3, Minnesota still doesn't feel like a bottom five team. I don't know why. They don't feel like a bottom five team. But
the reason I think they belong there is because they are plaxicoing themselves every week.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh God, too soon.
Too soon.
I'm just saying.
15 years.
It's a joke.
Oh.
Hey, do you have that's the joke?
I do.
That's the joke.
Oh, you have that. Nice.
Like I'm just saying. I don't have the Texans in my bottom five. I can't sign off on the Texans as a bottom five team. I have the Raiders in the 29 spot.
Hey, quick question, EJ Christian. I'm sorry to cut you off, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
If a team has a quarterback who threw this many games in his first year, there's only 4 other quarterbacks that have done a better job. Do they belong in the bottom 5?
You can see the Stroud?
It is CJ Stroud. This is
Rookie
why you're wrong. Check your life. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. You had them still, at 32 last week?
And you were wrong there.
Right, you were wrong there. Last week you were very wrong there.
Have you been above 28 this year? I don't think so. And you've been wrong the whole year.
On the Texans, you mean?
Yes. Yeah. But again, best bottom 5 thus far. Yeah. I'm nitpicking the Texans simply because, listen, and this is less about you. I banged the drum in my preview for the 3-point conversion of the AFC South about how this team, if you trifle with them, will make you pay. And other teams will trifle with them the same way the Jags did, and they will make them pay. And listen, it'll be only a matter of time before I Morningstar that ass with the Texans. I'm just saying.
Yeah. We'll see next week.
Yeah, like I said, if you want to switch Broncos and Bears, by all means, I don't think anybody's going to argue with you there. But yeah, I would say I would agree with Kyle.
We'll just go 3-1, A through 1B. No, never mind. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that, Jazz.
That's funny. Now shut the fuck up.
All right, here you go. 10-1. Kyle, get up some shit. Number 10, the Bengals. Number 9, the Lions.
You're so
Number 8, the Browns. Number 7, the Ravens. Number 6, the Cowboys. 5, Bills. 4, Eagles. 3, Chiefs. Honestly, this is really 1A, 1B for me. But I had to give the Dolphins credit for what they did this weekend. 2 Niners, 1 Dolphins. The Niners did nothing wrong to lose a spot. It's more about the Miami Dolphins, how good they were this week. Honestly, 70 points is 70 points, dude. I'm sorry. That's it.
I mean, there was points against the lowly Giants that the Niners looked a little shaky. So,
right.
But yes, it is more about.
Let's be fair. I mean,
it is more about what the Dolphins did as opposed to what the Niners didn't do.
Right.
And
So-
rightly so.
So real quick, I know. So
Rightly so.
So compared to last week, the Dolphins were, I think 5 last week, whatever. Obviously, they did their thing this week.
I thought they were too low at 5, but I didn't want to bitch at you.
Right.
I had them at 2 last week. They're mine 1 this week.
That's
Right.
crazy. Last week at 2. This week, yeah.
Same with the Chiefs too. There were 2 last, they're 3. Nothing to do with KC. KC's still a top tier team in my
Why are you
opinion.
dropping the Chiefs? Is it just
No, because it's the Dolphins. Again, the Dolphins fuck things up.
all right?
Dolphins fuck things up.
Okay, no, it's cool. I'm just checking that was it.
This is what I'm trying to explain here. Like, Niners Chiefs going down one spot and had nothing to do with really.
They didn't suck. The Dolphins were just that good. I get
Yeah.
you.
That's all it was. The Eagles stayed at 4 and at 3-0. Buffalo at 5 because look, if Dallas don't fuck up, maybe they hit 5 instead. But Buffalo, nice, honestly, nice bounce back last 2 weeks. I know, granted the Raiders, granted Commanders. I'm sorry,
Playing somebody
Tails.
other than the Jets defense on
right.
And by the way, not for nothing, the Commanders have a good defense, even though they're a bottom 5 team.
Right. And honestly, if these fucking teams in the bottom of the 10 didn't lose this week, maybe they wouldn't happen in the first place. Cowboys 6, like obviously with 3 last week.
So here's the deal, EJ. I have your exact same top 5
in order, in the same order.
Yeah, same exact
No,
order.
your top 5 is strong, homie. If
Okay.
this was a top 5 and bottom 5 list, this would literally be your best list all year.
Okay.
But you
Yeah.
fucked it up in the bottom half.
Okay, let's go ahead. Kyle, what's wrong with the other 4, the other 5?
What the fuck are the Browns doing here? What the fuck are the Browns doing here?
They're not
Yeah,
top 10.
What are
I
we
can't
doing?
sign off on the Browns, man.
Didn't you have it balls top 10 last week, Jim? Or was that 2 weeks ago?
That I think that was 2 weeks ago.
Maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, the Browns in the top 10 is absolutely stupid.
Okay.
Yeah, again, because I built my week 1 or week 1/week 2, whatever, top 10 based on what I saw in week 1.
Right.
And the Browns stomped the Cincinnati Bengals in week 1.
Yeah, it's not the
So I
Titans
think I
week,
had
too.
them at 10. They found their way out really.
I mean, the problem with that is this. It's like this. I'll be honest with you. The bottom 5, the bottom 4, really for me, or 3 was tough because last week you had the Jaguars. They're gone. You had the Saints.
Joke
They're
that,
gone.
please.
And rightly so.
Right. So
Some people here accused me of thinking they should belong in the top 10, and we're fucking lying, EJ Christian.
right. So I just we put in there. I mean, who should we replace those 2 teams if not those? If not the
So I
Browns?
can make for the Browns at this point, even though I don't think it'll last at this point, I feel like you have to put the Packers ahead of the Browns right now.
Okay.
It just looked more complete. I'm not going to say the Saints, though I'm sure somebody would make an argument.
They lost to the Packers. So to your point.
To my point, right? Exactly. And they're just outperforming to beat hell. By the way, I love that you don't have the Falcons in the top 10. A lot of
Of course not.
keep trying to give them love. I don't.
They were in there last week.
would you put Seattle above the Browns right now?
That was the team I was pushing back on.
Goddamn question. Would I put yes today? I don't think it'll last. I'll be honest.
Would you have the Colts above the Browns?
No, not
Right.
yet.
Seattle was a team in waiting. I was gonna put in there.
Yeah,
that was the only team I would consider.
The Browns are clearly the biggest whiff. Yes, even bigger than you putting the Cowboys too high again. But again, I'm expecting that because you're a fucking homer. We've been over that how many weeks in a row? Holy shit. The Ravens should still be ahead of the Cowboys, in my opinion. The Lions should be ahead of the Cowboys, in my opinion.
I have the Lions as my 6.
Okay.
Wow,
that's
that
not
high?
I can
Or
interchange.
because it's more about who shouldn't be there than the Lions being there. if that makes
Moreover, the Lions have a win over your number 3 team. Shut the fuck up.
This is true.
Anyways,
They moved up one spot this week.
yeah, and you had the Saints in your top 10, which was complete trash.
The Ravens, right, and they're gone now. The Ravens will go down,
They never
knocked
should've
down one. The Ravens got down one spot only because of the fact that they were down 7 starters. Should have won the game still, but down 7 starters too. Also,
Who's griping? Listen,
They're the
again,
same.
I said the Ravens are higher than the Cowboys.
Right.
I have accounted for their starting lineup missing. Hey, listen, the Niners had 9 starters missing. You took account for that last year when it happened too. I totally get that. You being the Niners homer that you are. Anyways, so with all that,
where would you put the Cowboys, Kyle?
the Cowboys are 9. I think 9 ahead of the Bengals is perfect. I like the Bengals at 10. This is
Good.
I don't like the Bengals.
I'm glad you said that, Kyle, because I was worried about that. That's the one I was like, the Bengals.
The reason why the Bengals belong at 10 is for the past pair of open games, right? So the first 2 games of the past 4 years, right? Joe Burrow's record 1-7. The dude is notorious for starting seasons absolutely awful.
Yeah, here's why I don't like the Bengals in the top 10 is they got the win. They got a very important win.
Yes.
Joe Burrow didn't get hurt. Very important.
Yes.
But I don't think it was that impressive of a win. Like they got it. That was good. Good for them.
What I liked about the win, though, is that they found another way to win despite Burrow having a game last night. He wasn't great last night. He was inefficient. But again, the defense stepped up, of course, number one, and they plugged away. Also, the Bengals at 10 for me, a bit of a holding pattern too, because I expect them to go on a run at some point. They're scheduled. I went.
Who do you trust?
On University Podcast today, I actually, me and Kyle today discussed it. Their next 3 weeks, they should be okay going into the bye week. So if they go 2 of the next 3 games, they'll be, a 3-2 into the bye. And at that point, they should be all right, set up well. Burrow gets 2 weeks of rest, and then they go on a run.
Jim, real quick, you say you aren't impressed by the beating of the Rams last night. I'm not necessarily mad at that statement on the surface. However, you do remember that the Rams played the Niners real damn close. And by the way, EJ's number 2 team only this week, and by way of the Dolphins scoring 70 goddamn points.
Only reason why that happened that way. Only reason why.
It's okay, EJ. No one's killing
you.
Right. And by the way, the Seahawks, who I believe you said you had in your top 10, I forget.
I do.
But the Seahawks lost to the Rams in question. What's the problem?
I think it's more about, like, if I would have extended a top 10 further than, down to a 15 or a 20, like I would have had the Bengals pretty low last week. And yeah, they got a win. I'm also like, even though, and again, my top 10, I had the Rams in my top 10 last week.
Mm-hmm. So they beat a top 10 team, but they're still not impressing you.
Yeah, because
I see his point though, but
I also think some of that, some of the Bengals winning was also the Rams losing. Like the Rams didn't execute in certain spots. Also, if the Tutu Atwell touchdown that should have been was actually called a touchdown, then maybe we're talking about a whole different result and a whole different situation.
You mean like the Red Tails needing a bad call in a 2-point conversion to beat the Broncos, but still aren't in the bottom 5? Gotcha.
Sure.
I will say this much though, real quick. Larger point for the Bengals while they're here. I trust them.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
It's taken just a couple of years.
You were so close to not getting mad at you.
I have been defending your ass off on the Bengals, and you had to come in with a shit argument and ruin it for both of us.
No. You're always
stop talking. It's not only right, it's better. Stop talking.
No, I agree. I'm gonna say more or less. I trust the Bengals. They will turn things around. Barring a Burrow injury.
Here's what I will say. Your better argument, which I will now restate because you just said a shitty argument, was holding pattern. It's just the same way that Colorado at 18 before Oregon was good. Mm-hmm. If the Bengals get the win and continue to show out, they get the opportunity to climb up, especially as, and I'd hate to call it the trust argument, how about this entire panel picking the Bengals to win the Super Bowl? The expectations are there, and they're going to start meeting them. If they fail to do so next week, they're back out to top 10. F them.
Is that simple?
I mean, they play the Titans, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks over the next 3 weeks. So, like, yeah, there's 3 games that you should win. So you'll certainly get back into it, and then you're starting to get into some meatier competition. You have the Niners, you have the Bills, you have the Texans, you have divisional matchups against Baltimore and Pittsburgh. The Jags, if they can figure themselves out by that point. the Colts, whoever the fuck they are.
Yeah.
You get near the end of the year, you have the Chiefs. Like, yeah, this Bengals team will certainly prove itself to, I think, be who we thought they were, right?
But they are who we thought they were.
So, like,
that gymnase.
but right now, again, congratulations on the win. But like, I'm also not sure what the Rams are. I'm not sure what the Seahawks are. Like, yeah, I have the Seahawks in my top 10. Are they really a top 10 NFL team? Ultimately, probably not. But again, my weekly rankings at this point, and to your point on the Student of the Game report earlier today, Kyle, is mine are a lot more volatile in the first couple of weeks.
And rightly so.
Correct, because I have a 3-week sample size. It doesn't necessarily matter as much. Like, again, yes, I know we joke with EJ about trust and all of that stuff, but like, teams do certainly get some of that. And again, and rightly so, right?
And rightly so.
Because if, for the Eagles, for the Chiefs, for the 49ers, for the Bengals, for the Bills, like when you have teams that are regularly over the past few years near the top of the conference, they should certainly have a degree of trust to them until they prove us otherwise. And that's why, like, okay, yeah, maybe somebody wants to put, the Steelers in the top 10 or the Colts in the top 10 one week, but very quickly they can find themselves back out because they don't have that favor on their side.
That's where the Bengals are. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So like for me, and maybe I had them too low because Joe Burrow was more hurt than I thought. Other teams they played caught them at the wrong time, right time, whatever. But
literally what happened last year too, by the way. That's
like the Bengals will certainly find themselves back in very quickly over these next couple weeks for sure if they do what they're supposed to.
By the way, Jim, you don't have a very good track record arguing against the Bengals at 10 at this time of year, but now I'm going back a couple seasons at this point.
I mean, that's true, but also I have them as we all do, as my Super Bowl champion. So
no, this isn't about that. This is about getting the dunk. Take it, white man.
But yeah, EJ, Cowboys too high. I have them at 8. I'm not even going to argue with Kyle of having them at 9.
But at least you calm down, and because remember in our group text on Sunday night, they're not a top 10 team.
I don't have them outside my top 10 because there's not enough teams to knock them out.
Right,
I will say this: I don't want them in the top 10 at this point, but there's nobody who can knock them out.
There's so many dumpster fires that happened this week. I think
it's more about the rest of the league around them not knocking them out because after what I saw on Sunday, the Cowboys shouldn't be a top 10 team in the NFL.
That's my point when I text you on Sunday.
Your face is a point. How about that? Beep, 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 beep.
Damn.
No,
right.
listen, I mean, by the way, for all the shit that EJ talks on air and in our chat about how I don't agree with him on anything, you do good, I tell you, bitch.
Thank you, buddy. Hug it out.
But honestly,
Texans still not bottom 5. You suck.
Okay.
As far as your top 10s and bottom 5 go, this is some of your better work. I will give you that.
I'm gonna ring the bell and say this is the second best one so far.
There we go. Look at you.
All right. Hey,
congratulations, EJ. You didn't fuck up this week. All right, gentlemen, as we